All citizens start out with a Level 1 room account that grants them access to any unoccupied Level 1 room at all times. A Level 1 room would be 100 square feet. A Level 2 room would be 200 square feet. A Level 3 room would be 300 square feet, and so on. It seems inhumane to ever have someone live in a 100 square foot home. However, you have people living in tents down by the railroad tracks. I have seen them. Living in a tent is essentially like living in a 100 square foot room. Using my sand cooking techniques, I'll bet that we can create a 100 square foot home with all amenities included that is sturdy and would withstand the test of time for about the production cost of a tent.
I became homeless a few months after my husband passed away in 22. But I lost everything. Everything he ever worked for, everything I did. And I lost him. And then I had to be on the street. I didn't ask for this.
Housing is at the core of the solutions we seek both at an individual and a societal level. If we had the ability to control our housing, we would live entirely different lives. Lonely people remain lonely mainly due to the rent that isolates and binds us. If we could move freely and rely on housing that cannot be taken from us, we would have more control over our relationships and have more ability to be with others when we want to, and the ability to move away from others when we choose. Having our housing as a right that cannot be taken from us under any circumstance would prevent abuse. If we had the ability to pick up and move our room at any time, we would have more control over the well-being of our consciousness, and in many cases, we would have more control over our physical safety. There are many instances for various reasons why it is sometimes best that we move ourselves and our residence to another location. The reasons are countless, and in many cases the ability to move our residence elsewhere can save a person's life. There are many reasons we may need to relocate, but what should never be in question is our right to access shelter wherever we are. Having the right to start out with a room account and claim any unoccupied room at one's room level or under can be used to prevent human trafficking and child trafficking. Everyone should have a Level 1 room account, and so everyone, including children, have the right as an individual to claim and control any unoccupied Level 1 room. They can use any unoccupied room at their room level or under to protect themselves. A mapping application can show them the location of what rooms are available to them. When rooms are claimed, it is reflected in the room mapping application. Children or anyone can claim a room and then lock the door behind them. If they feel unsafe, they can then seek higher counsel from within the safety of the room. Something that should change is our right to build structures. If there is no structure where you are, you should have the right to build one. Some structures should require permission, oversight, and assistance, while other structures should not require permission, oversight, but assistance should be available if required. This system allows structures to come into being and gives you credit for creating, mapping, or discovering them. This is a system that holds together over vast distances under the principle of universal law, and from there lets people go to live in remote locations if desired. If there is nothing out there, they are encouraged and not discouraged to build something useful there. They can be given credit for mapping any structures they discover or create. After a structure is created and audited if approved, the builder may be able to receive the equivalent room or residual income account value corresponding to the size of the structure. Perhaps when claiming a room-only size determines the room level, but when converting a room to a residual income account, or selling the structure to the system, so to speak, other factors are considered in determining the level of the residual income account they will receive as compensation, such as the type of building material and location, for example. And this may allude to cases in which we may be compensated in direct payouts instead of receiving the equivalent residual income account, which theoretically cannot be converted into its purchase price. If you build a structure, it should be possible to receive the value of the property as direct credit in one lump sum, instead of only having the option of receiving a residual income account as compensation. This is about more than just building pretty structures, although that is a part of it. The structures available to us presently are in question as they leave a lot of room for improvement in their building material and technique.
Elon Musk, please collab.
But this is also about a system of housing that ensures that everyone has shelter under all circumstances. The system allows people to have the incentive to work and do more as it allows them to achieve higher levels within the system while at the same time respecting those who have reached a comfortable level and do not want to attain higher levels. This system never takes what they have achieved at any level, and eviction is not an option. Housing should never be in question at any stage in our lives. Are there a lack of rooms? Then in the app you create a task for the creation of a room. A voting sequence is established in the Collaborative Intelligence app. Everything is worked out, including where the room will be and how big. A task, composed of several smaller tasks to build the structure, is created and made available for credit. This task can be for one or more people to complete. You can use this housing strategy on other worlds. If you couldn't go out into the environment, each room would be used to produce the next room from within if necessary. Rooms and structures can be created with advanced parts creation and interconnecting parts languages. The system that connects these rooms would allow for a fun way of creating custom communities by allowing us to choose where we live. We would have the ability to log in or out of any room at our room level or under at our discretion. With advancements in building techniques, we can work together on community projects that we can be involved in and take passion in being a part of. like the creation of truly sustainable communities that integrate with the natural world to create harmonious living areas and areas of efficient productivity. These communities are stewards of the land and utilize resources to the best of their ability. With the ability for all citizens to take part in collaborative voting sequences to update and shape their environment while determining the areas to leave untouched or in the care of local caretakers. In this system, we all become caretakers of the land and the structures that inhabit the land. We have an active role in the preservation and beautification of our local environments, and we can be given credit for the work we do locally. In present systems, all work and effort are going elsewhere. Our local environments are crumbling and left unattended to. We should have the right to work locally and be given just as much credit for our efforts when doing things that benefit our local community and environment as when we do things externally away from our local environment. Our homes should incorporate the latest advancements in technology, and they should be at the epicenter of our lives. We should have the right to spend the majority of our time in our local environment producing excess goods or providing services local to our community. They keep talking about the importance of gun rights, which I can agree with, yet at the same time the one-way thinking that they portray says nothing of alternatives. At this point, they are now walking around with automatic weapons, or at least they want to. It has really already gone too far. So then where's the option to not see them? Where is the option to not have a confrontation with someone's potentially out-of-control emotional state? They argue for gun rights. Well then, where are my rights to stay home most of the time and work locally so that I don't have to be around a bunch of militant and armed people? So then, if they can reaffirm their rights to walk around armed, I should have the right to stay home and produce excess surplus locally from within my advanced structure. And I should have the right to advance the walls of that structure to utilize the space, create entire miniaturized industries within the walls of my structure and use the thickness of the walls of my structure to stop bullets. The point is that if they have the right to make stronger weapons that they walk around with, then we should have the right to live in increasingly fortified structures. And to me, that is an advanced structure, made out of advanced material that is bulletproof. That is structural defense. The enemy can exhaust itself outside. Systemic defense comes from a system that then does not continually force us out of our homes for trivial reasons. In more mature civilizations where we do more locally, we do still need oversight from the community. To prevent abuse and the formation of breakaway civilizations, all structures need to be audited periodically. All rooms need to be audited and checked for corruption. Corruption is rape, murder, and filthiness. An auditor is like Gordon Ramsay coming through with a down-to-earth, stern demeanor but with a loving purpose, like helping to improve the workflow or by uncovering and resolving any corruption. It's the Ramsification process. Gordon Ramsay is an auditor as well as a chef. Local family or local community members or new technologies can be utilized for auditing purposes. All utility rooms and structures, like public workspaces, are up for auditing at any time. Residential rooms and structures can only be audited between residents or with consent by the inhabitant. This is not a green light for any and all debauchery in residential spaces. Just as it is now, if criminal activity is suspected even in a residential unit, then law enforcement may need to intervene. While respecting everyone's privacy as much as possible, we still need to routinely check every nook and cranny for people being held against their will. Saving lives should provide far more incentive than taking lives ever could. We need the right to be together if that is what we choose, and we need the right to be apart from one another if that is what we choose. Consciousness should never be subjected to the infantile tirades of another consciousness. Having a room account that we control under all circumstances should be a fundamental right. The right not only to have shelter at all times, but the right to move that shelter when we choose, so that we are not left in conditions that are unsuitable to us. I want to spend time updating my housing until it is a model of efficiency. The air conditioning, the plumbing, the electrical wiring, everything should be up for updates in the afternoon musings of technological efficiency that we could casually create and implement over time. In a participatory system, we could turn in inventions and other unique contributions to the system, maybe by showing them off at a local community governing center, instead of sending your idea off to a patent company, never to be heard from again. I want to sit and watch as the next hurricane or earthquake rolls through from within the safety of my advanced, yet incredibly cheap and easy to make and easy to assemble structure. I want to be able to work on the technologies to build, maintain, and update the structures that we inhabit, and the ability to create and improve the systems and practices that we use. It would be nice to live in a system where our ideas and our contributions were appreciated. We should be able to reach a place of peace by harnessing the systems of nature and integrating as part of them. Our housing rights should allow us the ability to find our place in the world, even if it is just a small piece of land that we tend to throughout our lives that we can call home.